All right, good morning, folks. Thank you for joining us on this webinar today. My name is J.R. Hopkin. I'm here with John Dubas. On behalf of the brokerage, we just want to thank you guys for coming on the line. We're going to talk a little bit about the Legacy Safeguard program, how to market and incorporate this into your final expense presentations. It's not a product. What it is it's a service that is available to both you and your clients at no cost. A brief background: the gentleman who founded this company, Brian Adams, his family owned a funeral home in West Texas. So he was able to grow up and kind of see the ins and outs of how the funeral homes operate. And so he put together this program to kind of guide your clients through the process of when they need to plan for a funeral, what to expect. A lot of people don't realize, but in the first 72 hours after a loved one passes away, there's over 150 decisions that are going to have to be made. And at a time of vulnerability, that is a very daunting task to be informed and be educated on, not paying outrageous amounts to get the process begun, and everything met that needs to be required to plan a funeral. So basically, Legacy Safeguard is a program that will enable you to become more aware of everything that's going to be covered. First of all, I don't know how much final expense business y'all do, right, but if you are not aware, it's a great market to be in. It's unsaturated. There's a huge opportunity to make a lot of money in it. Here you have in front of you are a couple examples of just that. If you look at just on the number of applications, so if you submit 10 final expense policies a month, you can increase your income upwards of 120,000. If you write 16 applications a month, that could equate to a little over $200,000. And if you really get after it and write 24 applications a month, final expense that is, you could increase your income 327,000. So that's a pretty good chunk of change right there. Aside if you do Medicare or any other lines of insurance, final expense is something you could sell year round. It's something every person is going to have to face the task of planning for a funeral. So it's a lot cheaper to have final expense insurance, a policy in force. So keep that in mind. Again, we're going to run a little bit through just outline the market here, what is out there. A huge potential in this market. As I mentioned, it's not saturated by any stretch of the imagination. 30% of U.S. households, which is roughly 35 million households, have no life insurance protection at all. Half of those households, roughly 58 million, say they need more life insurance, which is the highest level ever. 70% of women and 60% of men believe life insurance is a necessity and everyone should have it. When we talk about necessity, that's the basics: food, shelter, clothing, bathing, the basics of that. So 70% of men and 60% of 70% of women and 60% of men believe that it is a necessity. 60% of consumers do not recall being approached to buy life insurance in the past 2 years. We've really struggled as agents to connect with the clients who are inquiring about it. There is a huge disconnect there, and with such a large market, it really makes you wonder why that is. 8 out of 10 households need basic insurance but do not have an agent. That's 8 out of 10. 80% of U.S. households do not know who their agent is or cannot name them. And a primary reason Americans purchase life insurance is to cover burial and final expenses. And as we all know, seniors are America's fastest growing market, and they need your help with final expense planning. 78% of purchasers with a previous relationship with their agent bought life insurance when their agent presented it to them. I'm going to kind of simplify that. So let's say you're a Medicare guy or a Medicare woman, and you have 100 clients on your book of business with the Medicare Advantage policy currently in force. This is running with the national average. If you approached all 100 of your clients that you have in force with the Medicare Advantage and inquire or ask them if they were interested in talking about possibly looking into final expense policy, the national average tells you 78% of those 100 are gonna buy a final expense policy from you. So right there, I mean, that's nearly 80% of your existing clients, which is the best lead source in final expense is your current block of business, especially if you're in Medicare or in any other product lines, really, because you already have that relationship. As I mentioned with the previous slide, 8 out of 10 people couldn't name who their agent was. So this would really do a good service to your already, they've already trusted you, they've already bought something from you, and if you approach them, chances are they're going to buy from you again, and so it's a great opportunity. So Legacy Safeguard right here provides members with a legacy planning and end-of-life planning guidance, assistance, and support. Members who do enroll in this program, they will receive the planning services, end-of-life planning guidance and assistance, support for survivors, estate planning support, and celebrating life events. Legacy Safeguard does a great job of kind of outlining the entire process of end-of-life planning. They go into great lengths to make sure that you, as well as your clients, are fully prepared and aware of what is going to need to be covered in the event of loss of life. Some of those planning services that they offer, historical information such as a family tree. People in today's society here in America especially have become very, very infatuated with the genealogy of knowing about their family's history and where they come from. And for example, Ancestry.com, which I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with, they sold in 2013 for nearly $1.7 billion, and at $30 a month for a basic package, that just gives you an idea of the number of people who are really, really wanting to know where they come from and reconnect with that. So the family trees is very, very important. Lessons you have learned and want passed on, family values you hope your loved ones keep, information needed to complete a death certificate, obituary, and your final wishes, such as songs, scriptures, speakers, and location of your service. Legacy Safeguard, at no cost to you, again, will be able to provide you with all of these things. Planning support, such as creating a free living will, help locating law attorneys, discounts on last will and testament, power of attorney, and other documents you may want. A lot of people do not realize that I work with a man who his father passed away about 4 years ago, and he had to make the decision to end his father's life. And a lot of people don't realize that that decision is not up to you if you do not have certain documents, such as last will and testament, a power of attorney, and a living will. You have to have all three, and he did, and it just it took if he didn't have that, then it would have ultimately been up to the state to decide his father's fate. But just stuff like that, a lot of people don't realize until it comes to that. And so Legacy Safeguard again will make sure you're fully aware and able to have those things obtainable to you. As I mentioned, guidance and assistance, 24/7 advisors to help you guide your family through the process, locating a funeral home, help planning the services, and bereavement of travel assistance. A lot of people think that you show up at the airport and wave a obituary cut out of a newspaper and you get discounted airfare. I wish that was the case, but it's not. So Again, Legacy Safeguard goes and make sure you have all of these things in order prior to the actual process itself of a funeral. Life events, they will provide you 20% on discounts on flowers, FTD, RX card for Walmart drug program, and a family legacy DVD that combines your photos and favorite music. That again, at a lot of services, especially nowadays, is very big to have, about a 5, 6, 7 minute um, kind of a recap that goes through one's life with the songs, and then all of the pictures, Christmases, Thanksgiving, holidays, travels, all of that. That I say that's pretty standard nowadays for that to be going on at the service at these funerals. So Legacy, they have a professional coordinator who goes in and actually creates that at no cost again. So that's the great thing about this program, is it's free to you if you enroll. Here you have the enrollment form itself that allows agents to enroll their clients into this program. It's a simple enrollment form, and it has several sections. It's very actually, I think it's about 3 or 4 sections. Very basic information for your client, excuse me, just to get the basics. Legacy Safeguard also has they have a quoting software available it's called Final Expense Estimator. Once you go through your client to go over how much money that they would need to come up with a final expense on how much that their funeral services would cost. Legacy has a quoting tool to help you add all of that up if you so choose and need it. The average funeral today, I believe, runs about $11,400. That number's gone up a little bit over the years, but so has the dollar. So that's perfectly normal. But I can say one thing, that a lot of actually cremation has surpassed 50%. I think it's at about 53% of Americans now are choosing cremation over traditional burials simply for cost saving, and actually that's the main reason, is it's half the price. Most cremations will run you about $4,500 including a service. So but it's a market that's not going away, and that's the whole point here, is to give your clients what they're looking for at the most affordable rates. And here you have the worksheet. This kind of goes along the lines, if you're in a life insurance, it would be like a fact finder. It's very, I really highly advise you use this when you're in front of your clients. So what you have there, as you can see, so all right, they're interested, they want to talk about possibly looking into purchasing a final expense policy. First of all, you're going to want to know the actual the tools. So the funeral home services, traditional funeral home or for a burial service runs, these are national averages, those numbers there, about $2,500. Cremation runs, that's about $2,000 with the service, probably a little under what I would think would be an average, but again, these are national averages. So casket, the average casket is going to cost you, let's say, about $2,500. And one of the new popular things is purchasing caskets online, because if you go to a funeral home, and again, funeral homes are in the business to make money. Their intention is not to take advantage of you in your time of grieving. However, if you indicate that you want to buy from them, they will sell it to you in a heartbeat. So you could buy, a really nice casket online for probably under $1,000, and then you go to the funeral home and they have the same casket that you just bought, but they're asking $3,500 for it. And there actually was a law in 1984 passed that says, a funeral home has to accept a casket that is a casket that you give to them, or if you have a casket sent to a funeral home, they have to accept it. They cannot turn it away, even if you didn't buy it from them. So keep that in mind. A vault that would go in the ground itself around the casket. The cemetery plot runs about $1,500. If you want a monument, that's going to be an additional $500 to $1,000. Flowers and miscellaneous stuff. So there you just have the basic funeral proceedings of the body. In that 1984 Funeral Act, another law that was in there was there's no law in the United States that says a body has to be embalmed. Now a funeral home may require it, but it is not of law to have a body embalmed, and that's another one that gets people sometimes. And then on the right here, you have other expenses that may be outstanding, such as credit card debt. If your loved one who passed away, if they have a house, that house is going to need to be sold. Vegetation is going to need to be kept alive. The plants are going to need to be kept alive. So you figure upkeep itself for 2 to 3 months, or however long it takes to sell the house. Expenses such along those lines, car loans, loss of income, attorney's fees, medical bills. You want to get as much information from them so you can get the most accurate expense that they're going to need to put forth on a policy. And this is a great funeral expense worksheet to outline just that. Here we go with this is another app here for through Legacy Safeguard. This is very similar to that RateCal, with the estimator. This is more carrier specific. It gets you, shows you who's the most competitive, what carriers you may want to roll with once you do get the sell done. This is a great tool to use. It's through ratecal.com is the name of it. So you decide you like what you're hearing. You think you're going to go ahead and enroll in this program. And again, I can't emphasize enough, it's at no cost to you or your clients. You just have to be enrolled in it. You would go to LegacySafeguardUniversity.com and enroll as the producing agent. And then once you have it completely enrolled in the program, you'll be receiving a fast start kit in the mail. It's gonna have all the marketing pieces that I ran through on those previous slides, and much more. And if you for some reason you need to get reorder supplies or get more supplies, there will be a cost incurred, but that's simply for printing purposes, printing costs. So this program is free of cost to you and your clients. You just need to make sure you go to LegacySafeguardUniversity.com and enroll in the program. And then from there, if you want to present this to your clients, you would enroll them at LegacySafeguard.com. This slide, this is a book that, again, this will come with, I don't think it comes with your Fast Start Kit, but you can request it either from us or through Legacy Safeguard. It kind of gives you marketing strategies, techniques you may want to use. This is considered the postseason. The regular season would be AEP, annual enrollment period. But final expense can be sold year-round, and I can't undermine that enough. The market, as you saw at the beginning of this presentation, is very wide and very, they need your help. They can't. There's a disconnection, and to reach your clients, it's very important. Final expense is generally geared towards the middle to lower income markets, but it can really be sold to anyone. What we have here is a personalized. This is a pre-approach letter that we can customize to suit your selling style. It's basically your clients would receive this Again, I would recommend, if you sell other product lines, I would recommend starting with your existing block of business before going out, because you would be amazed at how just going within your existing block, how referrals are generated. It's incredible. It really is. But so if you're interested, you just contact us here at the brokerage, and we would be able to personalize this letter. This is just a generic form that we have here, to kind of, let your first touch base with your clients about talking about, final expense, and have you thought about what you're going to do, with legacy planning? Have you thought about how your family would be taken care of, if that, excuse me, how they would take care of you in the event of an unfortunate scenario as death. But this letter was very generic, and we can customize it to how you want it to look. Here's a little booklet on how to earn referrals through final expense marketing efforts. You know, as I mentioned, I truly believe I've seen enough cases, I've talked to enough people. The best leads, final expense leads on the market, on the face of this earth, come within your existing block of business. So I would start with them. Any leads that you go out and purchase, if it's final expense or any other product lines, it's a numbers game. The numbers that I want to see are that 78% out of 100 clients on my existing block of business will buy from me. So there's no lead company out there that can give you numbers as that significant. Here you go with a gift certificate. This is through Legacy Safeguard. The only thing seniors love more than gift certificates, are the newspaper clippings on the, you go to the supermarket and you stand behind, this elderly person for about 10 minutes while they hand out a discount coupon for every item that they just purchased. So they love both of these things. You can do this, put you as the agent of record here provided by, and give them, an expiration date. It's kind of tacky, but it goes a long way. It means a lot. It shows that you're really doing your service here, and you're bringing a smile to their face. So this is another marketing piece available through Legacy Safeguard. Here are some of the carriers that these are the carriers that Legacy Safeguard offers. National Guardian Life. I can tell you that they have done away with their whole life product. And on that note, I'm sure if you're getting into the final expense market, you have probably some indication of how it works, but final expense policies are whole life policies. They're obviously a tenth of the amount of a normal one, but they are whole life policies. National Guardian Life recently, 2 months ago, pulled their whole life product. However, they still do have a funeral trust if you're dealing with a higher end, population, with means that would be something that they may look into. United of Omaha, they are very strong. We probably sell here at the brokerage more United of Omaha final expense policies than any other carrier that you see in front of you. They have a living promise, which is a very, very strong product. Kemper, Transamerica, those are Transamerica is coming on board very strong. Gerber Life and Great Western. Great Western's a new addition to the final expense team here. I can tell you they have it's kind of unique. So let's say your client buys a $10,000 final expense policy. If they answer, it's a guaranteed issue carrier. If they answer no to all of the 5 health questions, then your client is eligible for a $2,000 increase in the face amount, and your commission would go from 65% to 100%. So it's kind of a neat quirk there that they have built into that policy, into that product, excuse me. If you are going to sell final expense insurance, there are 3 types of products you need to have. You need to be appointed simplified issue. You need a guaranteed issue product, and you need an irrevocable funeral trust, which is available through National Guardian Life. Now, the irrevocable funeral trust is not required, but two things you do need a simplified issue product to offer, and you do need a guaranteed issue product to offer. The main difference is there's no, in final expense, there's no paramed, there's no lab requirements. It's very unlike traditional life insurance in that aspect. But with the simplified issue, you have 5 or 6 health questions on most applications. If your client answers yes to one of those, they may be eligible for a graded or modified simplified issue application. However, if the underwriter feels it is in the best interest to go guaranteed issue, then they may come back and let you know that. The gentleman up in Dallas who came back from Africa with Ebola, if he could have signed his name on the application, if a final expense policy was presented to him, he could have gotten issued a guaranteed issue policy before he passed away. Most guaranteed issue policies, it's return of, if they die within the first 2 years, it's return of the premium plus 10%. So keep that in mind. And here, these next 2 slides are going to, these are specialty products. This first one is it's through a company called Family Life out of Houston. Viva Life is the product. What it is it's a term product that can basically offer insurance to undocumented workers. Clients with an I-10, that's all you need to be able to get approved to get this policy underwritten through underwriting. No medical exam required. Online application is available. There's only four health questions on this app, and it's available for ages 18 to 55. I would say this is very influential in the Hispanic market, given that there is no social security number required to sell this product. The face amount runs from $25,000 up to $250,000, and it's a level term product with the return of premium as an option. And this last specialty product, this is a very, very, very popular product here. I would go out on the limb. Yes, I will. I would say this is probably the greatest door opener out of any product in any lines of insurance that I can name at this present time. This was started by because of World War II by General Eisenhower, General Ike, a 5-star general, which is why you see the 5 stars next to AFBA up there. The AFBA stands for Armed Force Benefits Association. Basically what this is, it's a level term product. You can offer to your clients between the ages of 1 and 17 for $50,000 of coverage at $4 a month. That right there is, you're not gonna, you can go to your search ranks, you can pull every resource you need. You're not gonna find a children's life product where you can obtain $50,000 of coverage for $4 a month, and there's nothing more to it. They have to be enrolled. They have to be the application has to be enrolled before the age of 18. At the age of 18, the premium goes from $4 to $5 per month. I can't tell you how many stories we've had of an agent will walk into a client's home to deliver a policy. Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, not even any type of insurance really, and you see the grandchildren sitting there, and you tell them about this product, and they literally pull out cash, and obviously you cannot take cash, but that's how excited they get. The best I've seen at this time is I think it's through Mutual of Omaha. They have a children's term product where you can get $10,000 of coverage, and I think it's for $6.75 per month. Here you can get 5 times that amount for $2 less. So it's not going to pay you a whole lot. This is you're going to get a one-time $26 payment, but you know, a lot of our producers call it their gas money. It's really a great door opener. Um, you know, and with the onset of diabetes that is running rampant in this country, a lot of these children will never have the opportunity to purchase life insurance. So $50,000 may not seem like that much of coverage, but it's better to have a little than be able to get none at all. So please inquire about this to us. We would be happy to fill you in. So this is a great product. Now, if you want to get appointed with any of our final expense carriers, I highly recommend going to thebrokerageinc.com. Again, that's thebrokerageinc.com. And then you're going to want to click on the homepage, Get Contracted. You'll see a link. I can tell you with the change in market, about I would say 80% of our active agents producing, when they do their appointments, they go through this SuranceBay link to get appointed. It's just a step in the future. You'll never have to fill out a paper application, paper contract again. The information is stored, what would go in a generic contract, and so every time you log in to request an appointment with another carrier, all you have to do is click Request Appointment, select the carrier you want, and then answer 3 or 4 background questions, and boom, within 10 to 14 days, you will have a writing number issued. So you go to thebrokerageinc.com, click on Get Contracted. We have 2 very capable ladies here in our office who can guide you through the process if you get stuck with the initial filling out the information and getting appointed. And that is it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Dubas. He's going to run through some group selling techniques here for you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, JR. We appreciate it. I'm just going to spend a very brief minute with you because what JR has laid out here for you is an opportunity to offer a system of preparing for the inevitable for your clients. One of the things we strongly recommend that as you are an agent with the different carriers that offer the program, you do it yourself so you see the true value of it. But the presentation you see in front of you right now is actually a piece that you can use with the general public. And it's a way of walking through a group presentation in many of the venues that we recommend that you use for other topics as well. Going to faith-based organizations, senior centers, other places of centers of influence where you have an opportunity to address a group. And this is a pre-designated presentation for you that you can use, and use this as part of your regular rotation with the people that you're addressing Medicare topics or life insurance topics outside of final expense. So what we wanted to make certain that you knew is you have a tool that you can use to take and expand upon the services that JR went through with you here this morning, in a way of taking that information and sending it to the public. Because not only do we want to make certain that we have the correct products in your portfolio and you comfortable with the reason that you would want to market them and that they satisfy a need, but we also want to make certain that you have tools that you can use to get in front of people to use what you have. And so this is a great piece that allows you to do just that. It is able to take the data that you have gathered through your personal experience and through dealing with people on a one-on-one experience and convey that to a group. And so this presentation is available to you for use with the general public. And as we go through and we discuss different grassroots marketing campaigns, different things that we can do to help put you in front of people, this is one of the tools we wanted to make certain that you were aware of that is available to you. So your very first step, as JR mentioned, is going to our website and contracting with carriers that have Legacy Safeguard available as a tool, one of those 6 or 2 of those 6, or hey, let's go crazy and contract with all 6 of those 6. But as he mentioned, you need the 3 categories covered, the the irrevocable trust, the guarantee issue, and the simplified issue products. And you can do that by creating your agent profile here on SuranceBay. That said, I want to thank you for spending some time with us today. JR, thank you for the presentation. Went very well. I'm very happy with the message that we've put out with you here today. And we hope to see you folks contracting with us, and then we working with you to get you in front of people to sell the product portfolio that JR has outlined for you here today. That said, once again, thank you very much for coming on the line. We appreciate you spending time with us today, and hey, happy selling. Talk to you soon.